So welcome, welcome. I'm just going to do a quick live about twin rays because there's some weird things going around about twin rays that is just so not true. One of them is that they're not sexual. That twin rays are completely different than twin flames in that one of the aspects of that, of course, there's no looping, there's no toxic looping, there's no runner chaser. We know this. We know this a lot. In fact, the problem with the misunderstanding of twin rays is that all the beautiful qualities of twin rays are packaged under the term twin flame, which is clearly not true at all, and it's confusing people. So I was having a conversation with a twin flame coach. I won't say any, again, I never expose anyone. But we were having a very good conversation, and I was saying one of the things that I'm feeling is really a problematic in the spiritual community is that many of us who coach are not getting together to share notes, experiences, and to refine by sharing what we have found on these journeys, twin flame, twin rays, and so on. And that we're all in our little bubbles and that we're not reaching out. So I said he has a mentor, and I said, well, I'd love to meet your mentor. So we'll see what happens with that. But the point is, one of the things that, I don't even know where the fuck they're getting this, but that twin rays don't have sex. That one of the things about twin rays is it's not connected to sex. That sex is off the table. And that's a lie. As a matter of fact, what I do know from twin rays, and if you don't know about me, I was a twin flame since, in other words, I've been a twin flame just like you, if you're a twin flame, from the time you were made, right? In other words, let me back up. When we were made as souls, we were split into twin rays. And then we began to fall. Many of us, naively, and we were very naive. We couldn't comprehend evil, similarly to you not being able to comprehend, say, the mindset of a serial killer. Like you don't understand evil, even though it was happening in the various upper realms. And if you've studied anything about the galactic wars and this and that, and slavery, Anunnaki, this, that, and the other, all the lores, legends of these stories are real, right? But many of us, when we're first made and we rubbed the sleep from our eyes and split, and we wanted to experience things with ourselves in two different vessels, right? As we started the walk of these incarnations, we did it very gently and very naively, and then we fell into lower realms, from say 90 to 70 to and so on, into 3D, and then we got looped into the washing machine spin cycle of reincarnations. And I say it like this because it was insane. We were having concurrent incarnations. We were trying to figure ourselves out, and we were completely dealt a raw deal because at that point we were working with total amnesia. Similarly to a woman, say, and it's I'm actually referring to a story that's actually true. A woman had a stroke, a beautiful shaman, had a stroke in the woods in Oregon, and she looked at this white thing, and then she realized it took her almost 6 hours. It's a miracle story, but where she realized it was a car. But it took her 6 hours to realize it was a car. She had a stroke. And somehow she was able to heal herself. That's a story. If you ever want me to tell you this story of this amazing woman, I will tell you that story. But they flashed that image of coming out of, say, a stroke, coming out of amnesia, and looking at something that should have been known to us, and we didn't even know what the hell it was. And it took us years. In her case, 6 hours. In our case, thousands of years. To remember our purpose to reincarnate, to remember that we didn't have to experience every fucking idea and sample of incarnation. You know what I mean? Okay, now I'm going to be a black Buddhist. Now I'm going to be a Buddhist in Japan. Now I'm going to be a Christian in Palestine. Now I'm going to be, you see what I'm saying? And now I'm going to have a good parent, but a bad mother. And every little nuances that we were either told by nefarious forces, or we cycled, not really thinking it through, that we had to keep incarnate. But anyway, the point is, Twin rays, we began falling into twin flames. Flames, burning karma. Why? Well, we gathered karma when you are a foot soldier going into battle, not questioning why you're going in there to create havoc into innocent people's lives. You suck up karma, negative karma, which loops you back. And then, of course, being your own worst judge, you judge yourself to such a point saying, okay, now I'll be in the village and I will be conquered by soldiers. And it just goes on and on and on. But the karmic loop that created us from rays, right, light beings, to flames, creating karma and burning karma and tower moments and this, that, and the other, is certainly has nothing to do with the reality of our soul's connection with our divine counterpart, our eternal consort. And this idea that twin rays don't have sex. So I don't know I really don't even know where they come. Here's why I'm saying this. Because in the twin rays I've met, one of the things that they all say, because I've actually had 3 of my own who were clients. I've become a twin ray, but I can't tell you from the beginning of my own experience, because I was a flame when I met my flame. So when rays meet at the onset, like the first few hours, there's almost like a mission. And this is coming from people who never have done one night stands. These are people that don't do hookups. But the first thing they do within 48 hours to 72 hours of meeting is they have sex. That's the irony. And it is, and you'll listen, you'll hear some of them talk to you and say, it's almost like there was an activation that needed to happen within that window of time. We met and we had to consume. And why? Because it's root chakra activation. It's chakra activations. It's unlocking dead keys, dead light codes. And it has to be done through the root chakra. This is why David Icke talks about the nefarious ways our root chakra are ripped out of us. In other words, bastardized in deviant ways. Okay, and he talks about it. He's been talking about this for fucking years. And how, evil forces, whatever you want to call them, drink up the energy of despair, of fear, of violence, like it's fucking a milkshake, okay? And he talks about that. So what's interesting about understanding contrast, right? You then realize, okay, so if it can be that bad, then what can it do on a higher level of consciousness? And so you've got people walking around saying, they're meta flames, they're this, they're that. And there's always they up the ante to this journey of the divine union of the sacred feminine and masculine, non-gender specific. Because yes, same genders can embody. In fact, some even in the realm of on the other side of the veils, some souls prefer same gender connection. And they embody that. And one will be more feminine, one will be more masculine. Sometimes both of them are masculine. And so they do incarnate in separate genders and opposite genders and whatever. But my point is, we cannot put our 3D fucking rules of, of entanglement into the spiritual realm. What I don't understand, and I think we should know better as a people by now, you'd think it's fucking 2025, that we would understand that our sensuality, our innate sensuality, sexuality, our driven desire to create art, music, things of that nature, all of these things were given to us by the one of 1,000 names, the one who created us all. You would think that we would trust this. And we were not to take it down to deviant levels, though we have free will. And that is a universal law of free will. Even if it's to your own demise, even if it leads to your own self-destruction, that is a rule, okay? But twin rays have their shit together and they've earned it, okay? There is no runner chaser. There's none of that. But they get all the nectar that we seek when we're in the twin flame journey. There's no more addiction. There's no more fear. There's no more lack of clarity. There's no more mind games, triangulations, gaslighting. And most of us, in fact, all of us, I'm just going to put it out there. Most of us, all of us, have some kind of narcissistic traits because of our trauma at some level, some more severe. Obviously, we go all the way up to malignant narcissists and so forth. And we are having the human experience. We are in these monkey brains. The man, Michael Singer, wrote a book, The Surrender Experiment, talking about him seeking peace from the monkey brain. I believe chapter 1 or preface from The Power Now, Eckhart Tolle's about the I and the me. In that room, he's 29 years old, realizing, oh shit, there's something else like witnessing me. So the suffering of our monkey brains, right? The fact that we've constantly been beaten by the monkey voice, right? The tapes. They could have been tapes from your parents. They could have been tapes from past lives and your parents. And there's all this energy that comes into play. But twin rays have worked on it. So it was a really good conversation with this person. And we talked about, Esther and Jerry Hicks. And I said to this person, they're twin rays, not twin flames. There's no karma they're burning. And it's weird how people will talk about twin flames, soulmates interchangeably. Like, oh, it's just look, if you want to call me Tony, then you can't call me Jackie, and you can't call me Daniela. I'm Tony. And Tony, this one born on that day, has these certain characteristics. Similarly to fucking twin rays, twin flames, and soulmates. They're different characteristics. There's karma that still needs to be burned. There's karma that's been released and purified. And now they come in to do their mission, sometimes together on the world stage, sometimes only one, and one's behind them, supporting them in the shadows because they don't want to be out there in the public eye, and it's none of our business if they're going to do it or not, and it doesn't make the couple less powerful if one of them stands back. A perfect example of that would be Cassidy at Twin Flame 1111. He was never in the forefront. But if you've ever bought one of her guided meditations, you hear him in the background laughing toward the end of the tape. And it's a beautiful laugh. But that's it. So these ideas that we've put into play to confuse the shit out of people, it's no wonder. And I think, and it's a call to twin flames and twin rays, and you guys supposedly who are calling yourself meta flames, which you and I both know you're full of shit, because meta flames are not able to take this low frequency. You know who's a meta flame at this point? They were twin rays, would be Yeshua and Mary Magdalena, and they graduated to this high level. They're not even a frequency match to 3D. They can't. It's like hold your breath underwater for 3 minutes. Good luck. It's not comfortable. And so when we have avatars that come in, or when we have these souls that come in, it's a special dispensation, and there's all kinds of preparation and a vehicle. And typically, from what I understand from my meditation, from talking to beautiful high-level spiritual teachers, they're going to be walk-ins. They can't do it for fucking a whole 60 years on this planet. It's like holding your breath underwater for 60 years. It's too much. And this has been illustrated again and again, like guys like Dr. Joe Dispenza. If you look up on YouTube, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Working with Giants, and then you put Lilu Mas, M-A-C-E, Lilu. And I've mentioned it so many times, you might vomit at this point, but I've mentioned it so many times as an example of high beings, light beings, in this case, working with him in his special healing room, right? And one day he tells the story of them coming to him telepathically saying, can you raise the frequency of this room because it's too low, and we can't lower our frequency anymore to match the frequency of these people, because if we do, okay, we will lose our consciousness, and we love ourselves too much to do that. So can you please raise the frequency vibration of this room? I mean, hello, they're telling us. When I met the grandfather, when I did the grandfather medicine, what did the grandfather tell me? He said, it's really fucking hard for us to come down here. We really need you guys to ascend. Like, you have no idea how badly, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, how badly we want you guys to ascend. Because for us to come here to your level is like going through boulders of rock, cement walls, and steel walls that are foot thick. And it's hard. And we can't do it, and we can't stay for too long. So to me, they're telling us. So when people bombastically, put themselves on a hierarchy, if they're living and breathing on this planet, if unless they're calling themselves walk-ins, and the only walk-in that I know for a fact was a walk-in was Rampa Tilap Singh. That doesn't mean there aren't any. I'm saying this is the one I remember reading when I was 14 years old in his books. The Saffron Robe, The Third Eye, and there are more. I mean, I think he wrote like 15 books or something like that. And he came in as a walk-in. And he talks about it. He's very open about it. It was like his wife even writes a letter about it going, yeah, that's not the man I married. Not at all. So my point to you is that you've got to realize that we're getting, it's almost like we're getting people coming in who are not, I don't know. It's almost like they don't want to create a village, like a library of information. They don't want to, gathering together to talk about this and maybe to get triggered. And I trust me, I'd probably be triggered too, especially if I thought some of the shit coming out of their mouths would be asinine. But I'd have to get myself together, and I would probably tell them, maybe we should all do a meditation and to work to almost like tear the ego away so we can speak with calmness, and we need to open our hearts fully to your point of views, and let's see why this is a no for some of us and why this is a yes for all of us, and why. I feel like we're coming to a point in our timeline where many of the people who claim they are twin flames and twin rays, we need to gather together as tribes to talk about what is this, so that we can have a point of agreement. It's almost like light language. Sometimes I hear people doing light language and I'm like, they're full of shit. They're just fucking babbling. But okay. And there's some people where I've heard them do light language and I get a complete chill going down my spine. I know they're talking it. I know they're downloading language. And my question, and I'm probably naive on this one, I wouldn't be surprised if I am, because I haven't followed that particular line of downloads, but is there now an approved or understandable lexicon of a dictionary of light language? Has something been established so everyone understands what they're saying? Very similarly to Gene Roddenberry coming up with a fucking whole language of Klingon. People actually have a dictionary called Klingon. It's a language book or whatever you want to call it, and they all speak Klingon. Okay? So it's a real thing. I'm not making it up. So I'm wondering how we can organize that and how we can come together little by little to establish some kind of understanding using the Akashic Record Keepers, the Galactic Council, other light beings, to that end. Because what's happening right now is that there's misinformation. There are people who are definitely not twin flames talking all kinds of shit to make money. They only want to sell the unicorn rainbow story instead of really talking about what it takes. And that's bullshit. There's something wrong with that angle. Well, I mean, clearly there is, because people are being harmed. And when I tell you that people go through the dark night of the soul, many of us have gone through depression. Trust me, if you're a star seed, there's no way in hell the twin flame depression was the first one. It wasn't the first one, but it was the one that almost took you out. If you're listening to me right now, you're still here, it almost took you out. And you made it. You made it to the other side. And for some, it lasted a year, 2 years, 3 years. It's crazy. And so we need to take it seriously as spiritual advisors, coaches, whatever, to realize how important what we say is to the collective. I just did a reading with this woman who thought her person was a twin flame, and it wasn't at all. Now, then I asked, is there a high-level soulmate, twin flame, a twin? She's a really beautiful soul. But I asked, is there a twin ray? And came back, high-level soulmate. At the minimum, it's a high-level soulmate coming in. And it's happening fast. but she's going to have to let go of her idea of who was what. And I asked her, are you disappointed? Are you hurt? And she said, yeah. I mean, yeah. And I said, but why? Something better is coming. Your soul had a contract to meet this person that's coming, and you've forgotten it. Your amnesia shouldn't separate you from what's coming. Some people just hold on to shit. And what's interesting is this man that she met awakened her. He triggered her. I had to tell her the birth of your children triggered something in you, just like it did me. You know what? Some of my lives trigger people into an awakening, an aha moment. I'm not saying that to be arrogant. Dr. Joe Dispenza's triggered me on one of his guided meditations on the void. That triggered the shit out of me in a good way. Like, the twin isn't the only person that's going to trigger you to an awakening. We need to stop that bullshit. The twin flame number, their birth number, whatever, isn't the only number you're going to see that is meaningful to you. Yeah, it'll be one of them. Trust me, a lot. It'll bang you on the head constantly. But, for example, I see my son's number constantly. Because we have a very strong soul bond. We are from a soul tribe because I am his mentor in this incarnation and he is mine. I learn from him, he learns from me. Okay? And so there are just certain things we need to, Kundalini, the Kundalini rising from the twin. No, you've had Kundalini rising. It's been spoon-fed to you again and again. And the twin, the sexual union with the root chakra connection, is a massive shake. And I've talked about it. This is why quite often for twin flames, the sexual nectar is so out of this world that it creates a runner. Okay? So I'm repeating a lot of the shit. Many of you who follow me, you've heard me say this again and again. But I'm hoping that this time this will go to some new people that haven't heard me before. And I'm very passionate about it. Hey, Stardust, thank you. Anyway, thank you, my love, Jennifer. Jennifer knows what I'm talking about because she's walking the talk. Okay? And finally, I catch a line. My twin flame, he thought we had a spiritual connection, and then he still pushed back after. Yeah, because you scared. See, the thing about twins, either twin ray or twin, they activate a memory. This is why I did a quick 60-second video on we were rays. We fell from being twin rays to twin flames. And many of us are looping back up, back into ascension, back into our twin rays. Like, seriously, some comments were on this live. I hate how people have to say something and they have nothing to say. The energies. This is why I'm very careful about what I say about my own spiritual experience, because I hate trolls having energy on even the words I share with you. So moving forward soon, I'll be reopening my Patreon, and I will announce it. I'll let you guys know. And in that Patreon, I'll be doing a lot more talk about my own experience so that you guys can understand where I'm coming from. And I will be telling you case studies of clients, of twin flames. And I will also be talking about star seeds and how we fell, because I'm writing a book. Do we have the same spirit guides as our twin flames? No, but we have the same oversoul. It's like an umbrella. We have the same. And so how do I put that? Higher self. It's like a higher self that merges. But there's been, I'm sorry, I'm burning sage, so it's fucking all the smoke. But yeah, so that's what we do have. In terms of spirit guides, no, our spirit guides, mine, his, for example, I asked that question, by the way. That was a very good question. I asked that question to my guide team. I go, no, because he's got his light team has shit, like he's done shit that I would have never done, for example, okay? And he's been in toxic loops in many incarnations. That's why for like almost 500 years, in many past lives that I've had, he was nowhere to be seen. As we were coming closer to union, and I didn't know it then, because we hadn't talked in years, we're talking about a decade, I started having dreams of him, and I knew it was him, though he appeared to me from when we were when we were, come on, star seeds on a particular other planet, okay? And I don't know why I didn't think it was my husband. I knew it was him. I knew it. And then I got the final vision, which I'll share with you on my Patreon when I get it back up again. I'll share with you exactly how I knew, and I went, oh shit, it starts. And I was a runner. Just on the side note, I was the runner, and then it switched. And what can you do, right? That's how it goes. And I didn't think we'd make it, to be honest. So, amen. Thank God. God bless. Oh, that's so sweet, Hank. So I hope that makes sense. So their karma is not your karma. They have had incarnations on this planet while you were on the other side of the veils. Okay? Or maybe, and I'm going to say this, or maybe, and that's fucked up in my heart, it breaks my heart to think that, but maybe while you were going through your trauma in France in 1820, they were a Native American, and in 1820s, being attacked by colonialism. Who knows, right? I'm just, and so the vibration of walking on the same planet was there, right? But the absolute, there was an absolute no that you'd ever even gaze each other and know you were alive, right? And what's interesting about our timeline now is we have the internet, we have this kind of ability to communicate and to find each other through this technology, which is not, it's not unusual. You know, it's not unhinged. We meet in how we need to meet. You know, I learned that for a very benign thing. I was in Hong Kong. I'm going to give you the story. It's really interesting. I lived in Hong Kong, went to school in Hong Kong when I was 14 years old. Okay. And there was a fabulous experience, the best experience. I've never been so happy in a school than that one. But anyway, and there was a friend of mine. She had red hair. She was Swedish. She was a diplomat kid. And one day, I was working at a store, you know, just working. I'm like 22 or 23, and I see this redheaded woman. I go up to her. I go, "You remind me of this girl I went to school in Hong Kong." And by the way, I'm in San Francisco at that point. And I'm 22, 23. And she turned to me and said, "Wait a minute, I'm that girl." And I'm like, "What?" So it was an interesting. What it taught me is how, when we're supposed to meet again, it doesn't matter how, where, when. The universe will conspire to the craziest shit to synchronize a meeting. And for a few months, we were very good friends. And then life happened, you know, to her. We didn't break up or stop talking or whatever. It was because of any kind of collapse in communication. It just siphoned out. But what was interesting is we both learned a lot from each other. She knew my spiritual beliefs. And then eventually we just moved on into other realms. And again, this was before cell phones. So had we had cell phones, we'd probably still be friends today, you know, communicating once a year, that kind of friendship. But my point is, what does that tell you? It tells you that the impossible is possible, that when the universe wants you to have a final connection or a connection, it will happen. Anyway, going back to twins. With twins, what I find heartbreaking with twins, and I had to learn the hard way myself, so it's not like I knew this beforehand, is that once the first meeting happens, even if the separation is 10 years, 20 years, whatever, you're going to meet again. I can guarantee you're meeting again unless they do something so harming to themselves that they drop their body for whatever reason, right? And still the communication, if you get your shit together and you can learn how to meditate and trust, your gaslighting. Listen, my skill sets are no better than yours. We all have the same basic skill sets, you know, kind of like I know how to drive a car, you know how to drive a car. I know how to use a fork, so do you. The only problem is I trust how I use my fork. I trust how I use my car, and you don't. That's the difference. So when I get a download, what the universe does, and my guides do, for example, for a client, right, is they'll give me something that the client can hold on to and go, holy shit, yeah, that resonates. So I'll give you an example. So a week ago, I did an Akashic reading, one with a past life in Africa, one as a cancan dancer. A cancan dancer was of Le Moulin Rouge, and it was the dancers that danced arm in arm in Paris in the 1870s, thereabouts, they were famous because they danced with their legs up in the air without any underwear. Okay, they were famous for that. Anyways, she was a dancer on that level too. And I've had a couple Concon dancers, by the way. It was interesting. I don't know why, but she said, I have a painting exactly as you describe of an African warrior, because she was an African warrior. And she said, you won't believe this, there's a curtain my ex-husband had of Concon dancers. So when I do, and by the way, those two incarnations were not the important one. The one that blew my mind was the one where she was an ambassador, commander from another galaxy, another planet. But that's another show. I won't share it here. I'm writing about it. But my point to you is that the universe, if you don't gaslight yourself, will give you something to confirm that you're not crazy, that you're not making it out. You're not making it up. You're not pulling this shit out of your ass. You're actually, yes. Because then the client will say, in this case, will say this, that, and the other, and that confirms this, that, and the other. Does that make sense? And trust me, it's only for that reason. Okay? But what was interesting that I will share with you, both the African warrior got speared right in the, shot right in the heart by a white hunter. And it shouldn't have happened. There was no reason for that. The guy was innocently hunting for his family, and his heart chakra exploded, right? And with the Concon dancer, she was very free with the absinthe and the opium pipe, laudanum, absinthe, alcohol. She was free love, if you remember. She was having one night stands, and she had issues with STDs, a serious one. And so her heart chakra and her root chakra were impacted. Let's put it that way, okay? And so this is something that she has to work on healing. And of course, you don't isolate chakras when you work on them. You work on all your chakras. This is on the side note, so you guys are clear as to what I'm talking about. You work on all your chakras, but you spend, say, 5 to 6 minutes or 10 minutes longer on your heart, or throat or third eye or whatever, right? And so that's what happens. So when you start going into your meditations and you seek knowledge and wisdom and guidance, it will come. It will come, especially after a while when this becomes your spiritual practice. And one day you're going to get aha moments, downloads going, holy shit, I know that's me. That it can't be me because it's brilliant stuff. Like I'm smart, but I'm not that smart. Like this is unhinged. And that's what's going to happen if you just trust yourself. And you have to also trust corrupted downloads. And an easy way to say is when you know it's a corrupted download, there's a sense of unease. There's a sense of unease, and there's a sense of massive question marks all over the fucking vision or the telepathic download. And you're like, yeah, hang on. And then you go to your doc holiday, right? And you call up your doc and go, look, I just had, and they're like, yeah, no. And you're like, yeah, thank you for confirming. This is a hell no. There's nothing wrong with confirming a no. But it does mean that you have to have a spiritual doc holiday on your sidearm. You know what I mean? They need to be your wing woman or wing man. And you need one. I'm not kidding. Because unfortunately, we are riddled with the monkey mind. We are riddled with old habits and patterns and behaviors. And yeah, we all going to step on dog shit. And we need to repair the damage. We need to say, I was wrong. Or I don't know. That's why sometimes people ask me questions. And I don't know. I do know something that I started studying because I saw the fear in people, for example, about death. Don't go to the light. Oh my God, don't go. You'll be looped back into incarnation. So I sat with that in meditation for weeks. And then I realized, first of all, you can't die in fear. You can't die in need. You have to die with love, absolute, the bliss, the nectar of love in your heart. And that emotion will catapult you to the right place. Because now it's a frequency match to divine, unconditional love. And so to practice that, we must practice dying while we live in our meditation. And then we don't have to, and then us die, we trust the process of dying. At that point, we're not afraid to go. In fact, we will go where we are a match to our intention, our feelings. And then there's no problem. You're going where you're supposed to go. You're going to high dimensions. You're going there, and you're not going to loop back into 3D, going back through the amnesia wheel of the dryer cycle. You know what I mean? And that's something that I think people needed to explain. Now, people creating content on, for example, the fear of death and, oh my God, you're going to loop back and all that bullshit came from David Icke. Number one, they did not give credit to him because he's actually the one who talked about it. Number one. Number two, if you have a problem, you better fucking find a solution to the... Don't just tell people, oh, well, just go the opposite. Just sit, just be in darkness. No, that's not the solution. The solution is be active. Because to do nothing is purgatory, aka limbo. And that for me, as a spiritualist, was a problem. Because as you're dying, it's an active act that continues. You know what I mean? You're going somewhere, but where are you going? And why are you going there? And who deserves to go there? And how do you make sure that you go to where you truly deserve, should go, right? So it's that act of just stepping into bliss and stepping into the nectar of love and connected to the one of 1,000 names and connected to all living creatures and creatures on the other side that also live. In other words, in a sense, our death is our birth. And we're just stepping from one, reality to another. And if we start panicking and we're like, and you're like second guessing and just the panic, that really disturbed me. So again, my lives are they're never planned actually, but hopefully this helps on some level to give you clarity on some other aspects that are not, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm writing. Yes, love, Phoenix, I'm writing about the starseeds. I'm really pushed to writing, so it's time. The way we ended up being at the very same place at the same time was incredible. We even laughed. Exactly. And the plan we made went ahead by aid of the divine. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Yes, my twin was flaking on meeting up, and then we ended up running into each other the same day. This is so cool. Served the military on same base with my son's girlfriend, dad, 20 years ago, and never met till our kids started dating. Oh, I just got chills. What a beautiful share. Thank you so much for sharing that story. That's beautiful. Wow, what a beautiful share. Wow, it's bringing tears to my eyes. That's how it works. That's how it worked with Esther and Esther Hicks and Jerry Hicks. They talk about that. I think they were still alive. I believe. Yeah, I think I saw the interview 12 years ago, 13 years ago. But I think, but they're talking about how, I'm making it up. I think it was in Florida. I could be wrong, but I think it was somewhere in Florida where I'm making up the apartment number. But let's say, okay, so Jerry Hicks lived in apartment 302 and he moved out at 12 noon. Esther Hicks moved in at 3 o'clock the same day. They did not meet until 9 years later. That's insane. That's how the shit rolls. And it's amazing to me, the magic. So as she walked into the apartment, she was getting Jerry's energy. That's how I'm visualizing. And then I remember her saying that they started meditating 15 minutes a day. And in those 15 minutes a day, they were getting potent downloads. You'll hear me telling people to do 5 minutes a day because you know what? You don't force an infant to go from eating cereal to having a turkey leg. So for me, it's like I got to spoon feed clients. And I know the monkey mind, sadly, intimately, sadly. And the problem with that is that you've got to give people what they can swallow. Seriously. And 5 minutes is 5 minutes. It's a no-brainer. It's easy. Dr. Joe Dispenza did the work for us. He's working with neurologists all over the world. And he realized that 2 minutes, the brain activity started shifting. So I figured, what the fuck? Let's throw in 3 minutes. Because for the first 2 minutes, they're settling in anyway. So boom, 3 minutes. Okay, 5. Okay, let's do that. And at that point, they're getting the taste of nectar of that moment. And the chime hits and rings 5 minutes. And every client I've actually meditated with on that 5 minute window have said, my God, that was quick. Yep, it is. It is. And sometimes you'll sit for your 20-minute meditation or and it'll be like fucking wrestling a lion. It's like you are losing your mind and you're chanting and breathing. And sometimes I've done like 45-minute meditations and I was like, damn, that was quick. So it's really, it's trust me, it's difficult for a reason. The monkey mind has us by the throat and is beating the shit out of us with internal dialogues. So this is why, you know, I've had clients say, well, should I chant, like for especially clients in separation of their twins, and the obsession is absolutely insane, and the pain is, it won't stop. They wake up thinking of their twin, they fall asleep thinking of their twin, and it is not a pleasant nectar of that. It's more like a fever, a howling hunger that never ends. And so when you start chanting mantras, it starts rewiring that habit, because if that habit is left unchecked, you could actually decide to self-harm. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I had a client a couple of days ago and I had to talk her off the ledge. I'm not kidding. It's bad. It can be very bad, very, very dangerous. That's why I tell people, when you walk out of the dark night of the soul, you are a kick-ass, brand new human being. You are no longer codependent. You still love your twin. Don't get me wrong. All of that is there. But the difference between twin flames going through that and twin rays is that they've walked through all of it and they both want to win. They want to go to the finish line. And sometimes there are things that need to implode, collapse, be burned to the ground in either one or both of you. And I feel very strongly that many of you will meet as twin flames, and many of you will graduate to twin rays in the same incarnation. In other words, the masculine or the feminine, that's the runner, has to stop their shit. Do you want to win? Do you want to ascend? And in other words, the masculine or the feminine, that's the runner, has to stop their shit. Do you want to win? Do you want to ascend? And the problem, and I'm going to be blunt with some of you, if your twin ray, if your twin flame is a 3D thinker and doesn't even believe in reincarnation, much less ascension, much less evolution of the soul, much less any of the things I'm talking about, if they're not even there, I'm going to be blunt. Many of you will have to ascend without them. You'll have to make this decision to keep going. I'm not kidding. And eventually they'll catch up. They will catch up. Trust me. Why? Well, because you'll be on the other side. You'll be on the other side, visiting them, working with them, healing them, visiting them in their sleep, astral sexual healing, remote energetic healing, recalibration. I'm not kidding. And eventually they'll wake up and they'll start walking towards the ascension road. So, do you know what I'm saying? So some of you cannot just collapse to say, well, I just want it in this incarnation. I just want it all now. And it's a very... this is not like buying a handbag, okay? This is one small drop. Your incarnation is one strong drop in the water of the 8 million incarnations, perhaps more, that you've had in this from the time you were made. So for some of you, this is you creating a foundation for the other side of the veils onto other levels of consciousness with your twin, going into a twin ray. And, learning how to stay and calibrate permanently in the ray energy. Because I'm going to tell you something else that people don't talk about. You can go twin ray, like, babyhood twin ray, you know what I mean? And you can actually regress. Just like people regress from addiction. Some people regress, it's going so well that they think it can't possibly last. Stupid moves like that, like it can't possibly last, or they fall back into a habit of self-destructive situations that create they're back to being a twin flame, and believe it or not, you're still in the ray energy, you're not triggered, you're trying to hold space, and if it continues, you'll slide back with them, because, so that's what I'm realizing, working with people, different people all over the world. And I'm seeing people who are on the cusp of twin ray. I tell them that, by the way. And some people are they're not going to be in union with their twin flame. I don't care. Oh, waves of twin rays. There's like this concept of waves of people coming into union. And the coming into union, what's really happening right now, I've talked about it to some length, about the celibacy that's actually happening all over the world. I don't care if you're fucking 65 or 25. I don't care if you're tall, gorgeous. I don't care if you're fucking, I don't care what you look like. There are people right now who are in a celibate state and who are recalibrating their own, sexual trauma, or their twins remotely. And there's all kinds of cleaning up that's happening before the next, and I will say this, the next wave of unions happen, and the unions could be temporary, a week, a weekend, a year, the end of your, until your end of your life. In other words, you are together for the rest of this particular incarnation. But there's something that is the stillness. Meanwhile, we're seeing examples of what's going on with the brutality. I've got to bring it up. I'm sorry if you get offended, but this is all about what's happening. The brutality of how women and how people in Gaza, their root chakra, and what's been happening that's been very inappropriate. Look the shit up. Very inappropriate root chakra attack with women in Congo, Sudan, with women in Afghanistan, with women all over the world. Okay? India. And the deviancy of the root chakra, or the attack of the root chakra, is not a small thing. It is a collective energy that is like a wind going across the world. It's a pollination of crap. And some of us who are holding sacred space in the celibate state are neutralizing or transforming the energy. Do you understand me? And that's where some of you are doing as high priestesses and high priests. You're holding sacred space for yourself, for your twin, and for the collective, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Oh, Barbara, you're back. It's good to see you. Surrender was the best thing I did for myself. The obsession stage is brutal. I know. I'm experiencing more peace in the separation, and life has a nice flow, developing happiness regardless of whether we're in communication or not. Wow. Congratulations. Wow. That's huge. That is absolutely huge. And the more people come out to talk about this, the more it gives other people realization that, yes, you are trying to get off the floor. And yes, this pain is real. And yes, this is crazy making shit. Like you feel like you're going insane. And people can't understand that. And many of you, we need to really create more communities, more and more communities, so people can actually just talk about it. And be shown that they're not crazy. You're not crazy. You're going through the burnings of karma. And what's happening is that you're going to start finding peace. And I said, I was talking about this monk, Shaolin monk, a beautiful man, actually, like physically beautifully. And he was asked, are you looking for happiness? I love this. And I said it in my other life, so don't get bored. Just stay with me for a minute. And he said, no, I'm not looking for happiness, because the opposite of happiness is sadness. I'm looking for peace. And I went, oh my God, yes, that's what I've been looking for since I was 37. Peace. Because I knew happiness. I mean, Khalil Gibran of the book The Prophet, which if you don't have that in your library, you must buy the book, Khalil Gibran, The Prophet. Fucking amazing book, okay? I could tell you so much about this man, the Prophet of Lebanon, right? Amazing man. Anyway, he talks about sadness. He talks about before you can enjoy happiness, you must have your heart creusé, means, hang on, I'm trying to find a word, dug deep like a well, so that it can be filled up with more happiness, more joy. And it makes sense. And people refuse the concept of what pain has brought to us in 3D, in these 3D incarnations. And pain has brought us to a place of empathy. Many of us have developed massive empathy, hence why we're psychic, some of us, right? We've developed our psychic abilities because of our empathy. Trust me, it's not because we're psychopaths that we're psychic, okay? Because we have developed it. Why? Because in our incarnations, some of our, I'll admit, I had some, I was a brutal masculine. a brutal feminine who used power with a corruptness that shot. I was like, why the fuck am I remembering these lives? Why? And the answer came to me, because you're afraid of wielding your power now. And because you're afraid of wielding your power, you are muzzled. And you must wield your power and know that you will never use it to abuse it ever again. And so all of this ability to excavate, the saddest thing for me is to watch many masculines, broken, toxic masculines, beautiful men, okay, they have good hearts, but many masculines, broken, toxic masculines, beautiful men, okay, they have good hearts, but they are so terrified of excavating their own trauma in this incarnation, their own being essayed in this incarnation, whatever the hell happened to them as little boys, right? Or teenage boys, whatever. And whatever it was, being beaten, like The Great Santini was an incredible movie about a father who is an Air Force commander, or I forget what the hell he is, a lieutenant, whatever, and how he treats his family and how he terrifies his family. That's a trauma, you know, and it was called The Great Santini. And men are afraid. Men are less likely to open that door because they're afraid that it's like a Pandora's box. It will never end. It will just keep flowing. In other words, they'll be in a fetal position sobbing, unable to continue the walk of their sacred self as the embodiment of the masculine in this incarnation. This is a real thing. Whereas women have been used to talking about their feelings and emotions and their fears for a long, we grow up doing this shit. And the beautiful thing is I'm seeing a lot of young masculines who are very capable and comfortable in talking about their trauma. The younger the generation. Why do you think older women are connecting with younger men as lovers? I mean, it's like, what the, you know, I'm going to be blunt. People my age, in my age group and older, they're men in that realm. Like I wouldn't go in that dating pool if you put a pew-pew to my head. Fuck that shit. I'm like, not that I'm interested at all, because I'm in union with my twin, though he's on the other side of the veils. But I'm saying if I was a woman single, this and that, it's horrific, that age group. The boomer age group is horrific. And whoever you are as males that are actually not part of that toxic group, congratulations. Because you are the nectar of light that shines brightly to give. I'm sure there's a divine feminine for you out there that's in your age group or whatever that is going to be a match. But for many, many women, and that's the truth, and this is the truth, and I hate saying it, but for boomer women, many of them will remain like ancient high priestesses in a celibate situation. And the main thing, like I just did this reading with this woman today, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it because it's important for you guys to understand. So the feminine rage is real, right? We know it, okay? And she was telling me that she was praying not to have a son. Praying. And she ended up not having a son. Thank fucking God. But there are women out there who are having sons, who had sons with men who betrayed them in vile ways, and take it out. The boy becomes a punching bag. And then the boy becomes a red pillar. Or he becomes a misogynist using other groups or other social media to support his hate of women. Because ultimately he hates his fucking mother. Great movie to watch. The Eyes of Laura Mars. With Tommy Lee Jones and Faye Dunaway. Great fucking movie. It's called The Eyes of Laura Mars. And it's about murder. It's for you women, it's probably a fucking right up your alley. It's got fashion. 1970s New York City. You can't fucking miss. It's very well done. It still actually presents itself very well, cinematically speaking. You're not sitting there going, oh, fuck, the 70s. No, you're looking and go, fuck, they fucking kicked ass with this movie. So you'll see what I mean. But it's a perfect, I'm not going to give you the ending, but when you see the ending, it's a mic drop. You're like, holy fuck. So I had to tell this woman, we're the women raising these pieces of shit. And for a minute she took back. I go, well, and we went right into, look at your culture. In your culture, for a little minute, and her culture was in India, for a little minute, there were, killings, I'm just going to say, of women who had just married their, husband, and the mother-in-law and them with their son were, unaliving them, since that's the fucking word we're forced to say, to keep the dowry. This was a thing. I swear to God, in the 80s and 90s, it was a thing. They take the fucking money and remove that person out of their incarnation. How's that? I prefer saying that. And there were other things going on. There were like abortion clinics all over India, so that the minute a woman found out it was a girl, they would, remove the fetus. And it was like a McDonald's all over. And she remembered. I go, yeah, remember? She went, yeah. I go, yeah, we can't keep fucking playing the gender war games. And the last thing you need to do, because she's heterosexual, that's the irony of irony, she's heterosexual, is that you need to not hate men. It's not all men. Yeah, there are a lot of men. There are a lot of men that are fucked up. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not, we've all been 14 years old being ogled and catcalled by men in their 40s. We've all gone through that. And men who don't know this don't know the trauma that leaves young teenage girls. There are two types of teenage girls. Those who run towards that energy because they have daddy issues, massive daddy issues, and those of us who literally cower, walking as fast as we can away from that kind of attention. Either way, it's fucked up. So I'm not going to lie and say, oh, kumbaya. No. But we have to balance the energies if we are going to win at this this path that we're on, called the twin flame journey. This is all flame shit. This is all burning karma. It's all burning deviant, disgusting, clunky, karmic loops. Okay, and you've got psychologists, psychiatrists, psychologists who have gone, oh, here they go again, ask me for little bubbles. Hang on, which one is sweet and juicy? How the fuck do I know? Anyway, okay, I made it. Okay, so the point is, what we're seeing with the root chakra exploding, right, in multiple presentations that we're seeing right now, from wars to forced famine to essaying people, because what the hell, let's televise it. It's insane shit going on right now. From Dubai with the girl that was found broken in half, basically, and people having the balls to say that a 21-year-old girl should know better. She's fucking 21, or 20. She's a fucking baby. And she probably didn't have good parents who taught her how to be street smart. If you're going to be a beautiful girl, you got to have a good parent that actually is going to teach you how to be street smart on the streets of the world. It's that simple. If you're going to have a beautiful boy, it's 20, 21, you better teach him how to be street smart as well, because it goes both ways. And parents are fucking failing their kids, because that girl should have not known better. She should have been taught better to know that, it was, so the stories are coming out of that part of the world, Jormy, I adore you, with Jormy and your bags and all the material shit that they're throwing at these kids, and all the plastic surgeries, gizmos and gadgets that they want, Rolex watches, yachts and so forth. And these kids are disappearing and being brutalized. So clearly we have a problem with the root chakra. Let's just say that. So for those of you who are taking a sacred space right now, see it with devotion to what you're doing. And when you pleasure yourself, do it with the compassion and the power of using it as a sex magic tool to bring your beloved to you, to create abundance for both of you, to create clarity in the heart of your divine counterpart, things of that nature, right? So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. And hopefully, the difference. And the twin ray, the difference is they don't need any of this shit. Okay. They did this probably 1,000 years ago. Maybe they did this. Maybe they did this in the last incarnation they had. Okay. And they had a couple things to clear up to really get their final certificate of completion out of twin flame energy. And they incarnated as twin rays, met, and it went well, like Esther and Jerry Hicks. She's still channeling Jerry. He's still working with her on the other side of the veils. What a beautiful story. And they probably came back to be of service, to be blunt, in this case, because they're really, really way ahead of your average twin ray. And there aren't that many of them anyway. The number I get, and I've always gotten, is 144 of them at any given time. The number I get for light beings slash twin flames is 144,000. It's a different number. So there aren't that, and I've been fortunate to meet 3. That's pretty amazing. You know? At any given time, by the way. What that means, at any given time with 4 feet on the ground, meaning right here on planet Earth. I'm not talking about people like me with my twin on the other side. Esther Hicks, when her beloved died, another couple met or went into union. You see what I'm saying? That's what I mean by at any given time. Okay? The number never falls. And again, it's the master number 9. Mantras, the malas have 108. It doesn't matter what religion, from what I understand, it's 108, which is 9. 9 is the master number. Not 11, not 22. It's not 29. It's not 8. It's fucking 9. And again, they have taught us shit to throw us off the scent, off our track, again and again. I mean, look, when you see how they took all instruments all around the world, right? In the 1930s, depending on who you speak to, it's the 1920s, the 1930s. But anyway, it was either Rockefeller or Rothschild. I forgot which one. Who gives a fuck? The point is, they put every instrument at 440 hertz, which is like nails on a chalkboard to our cellular system. Why? You have to ask yourself, why? Why, with all the shit going on the planet, why in that particular timeline was it important to put people in public schools to train them to be worker bees and to change the vibration of instrumentation? Okay? Why? And you'll find how the fuckery goes deep, because back in 2016 and 2017, you could never find a guided meditation using 440 hertz. And now you do. Now you can. So it's deep. And it is a spiritual war. It is a spiritual battle. There's no doubt. And I did a YouTube, actually a live on TikTok, which I put on YouTube. It's called Twin Flames, Why Are We Dangerous? I'm not kidding. Go check it out. Go listen to it. Because that was heavy. I went fucking raw and deep. I didn't give a shit. And you know I don't give a shit anyway, but I definitely didn't give a shit that night. Yes, the magic is amazing. The activation can start by just being in the same area, I believe. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I agree with you. My twin is catching up to the nature of the connection. I know by what he's shared with me. Congratulations. That's beautiful. Surrender was the best thing I did for myself. The obsession. Oh, I'm sorry. I read that already. To destroy our awareness and inner knowing. Exactly. 440 is massively bad juju, period. End of story. So you want to go with 528. There's all kinds of frequencies, honestly. The frequency of the planet. The frequency of the planet is changing. You know, just look at various frequencies. The fact that I'm going to be blunt with you guys, so just bear with me, stay with me here, be patient. The fact that we know that horses' hearts can feel the frequency hertz of our hearts miles, I think it's miles away. I believe I'm correct. I could be wrong, but I know that they feel it. So that when you connect with horses, when they connect with you, they actually are healing your heart chakra. And the fact that we are sending them to slaughter and to be brutalized, beaten, and tortured, knowing these animals are amazing, is done on purpose by the 1%. Why? Because it creates that the energy they want, a siphoning energy of fear, despair, and trauma. Why do you think it's been signed to start hunting wolves? Knowing what we know about wolf packs, about how wolves mate for life, for fucking life, my friend. If the she-wolf dives, the male wolf will wander for 2 years, at most, maybe 3, and die, not rejoining a new mate. Okay? Why are they doing that? Well, we know why they're doing that. They want to see how they can really fuck it up so that wolf packs no longer have that wolf tribe mentality of caring for the elders, the younger, the whole system that they have in place. And it is a beautiful thing to study, our wolf packs. Beautiful. So why are they doing all that? Why are they hunting bears in their den during the winter? Why? The energy of that trauma is caught. It pollinates the planet. That's why. It pollinates the planet. If I had GMO corn 100 miles from here, and I'm putting my crop down for, organic, non-GMO, that shit will pollinate to my corn. That's why corn is fucked at this point. There's no pure corn. Anyone that says non-GMO, wink, wink. Okay, well, enjoy your delusion. Am I still growing corn? Yeah, for the hell of it. But I'm not in any way deluluing myself into thinking whatever says on the packet non-GMO is true, knowing how pollination works. For example, so negative energy pollinates the planet. Positive energy pollinates the planet. And what we're being asked to do is keep doubling down our positive energy on seeing the new earth, as impossible as it seems. Just doubling down and keeping that fucking foot to the accelerator. I mean, literally, put your foot all the way down on that F-meffer, and if you're going 160 miles an hour, keep going. If we're all doing it, that power will pollinate these MFers out of the fucking game. That's what we've never done. Because we never had this kind of medium to communicate that force of intention, of focus, right? We've never done this before. Not to this level of success. Never. It's been a hell of a fucking ride, hasn't it? God. These incarnations have really kicked the shit out of us. But this is the last haul for many of us. It really is. All right, so listen, I'm going to let you go. I want to thank you again. Before I let you go, I want to give you a gift. And the gift is going to be an oracle reading, if you don't mind. I'm going to give you that gift as a goodbye for today. Knowing me, I might do another live tonight, but we'll see. And it's by the Earth Warriors Oracle deck. Earth Warriors Oracle deck. And the last time we did this, it was Pachamama. So let's see which comes on. So I'm going to be, shuffling the cards. And I do want you to be involved, if you don't mind. So I'd like you to pick top, bottom, and middle, and majority wins. And then I'll very slowly read what your message is for today. Okay? And so top, bottom, and middle. I really, really appreciate the introduction of these concepts. Thank you, my love. I really appreciate you listening. Middle. Bottom. Okay, majority wins. Top, bottom, and middle. Middle. We're going middle. Yeah, middle. Okay, this is called 42. 42 is 6. 6 is the lovers in tarot. It's connected to Venus in Kabbalah numerology. And it means, in the lovers, it means the choice, making a choice. There's a jaguar, shamanic men, a hummingbird, and roses. It is called Kanyi Ini. In each other we find ourselves. Oh my God, I feel like crying. In each other we find ourselves. Okay, let me read you this beautiful card. Oh my God. I've been like on the edge of tears all day long. It's so weird. I'm just feeling so emotional. All right, let's look. And the page is 198. So it's, if you guys know anything about 9, I just talked about it. I have a whole numerology on my playlist, but 1 plus 8 is 9. So page 198, that's 18, right? 9 plus 9 is 18. The master number, spiritual and material conflict is what it means. In tarot, it's connected to the moon, confusion. How do we get there? How is this going to make sense? Things that are unseen and things that you have to walk through in faith. And it's 9, the master number of co-creation. Manifest what you want. Okay, let's begin. So 42, Kani Ini. In each other we find ourselves. There's a spiritual purpose that only you can fulfill. As you move forward on your journey, you create space for others to move along behind you. And as the ones ahead of you move forward, so too does room open up for expansion. Upon this earth, we are all building the sacred temple, each fulfilling our task as we assist and support each other in our collective divine mission. How can you help with your heart most actively engaged? What can you offer which inspires and energizes you so much that others are uplifted in your presence? How can you receive from others joyfully, bringing them pleasure? Engage in giving and receiving deeply with devotion. Your wisdom and openness to life generates healing for our earth. Inner reading. Healing is indicated, especially of wounds, about connection and trust, safety and tribe, belonging and permission to be unique and individual. At a physical level, more vitality and ample energy for healing are indicated. At a spiritual level, a deepening awareness of unified consciousness is opening up within you, which will bring you into a deeper divine communion and increase your effectiveness as a healing presence and sacred activist in this world. You have a destiny to fulfill, and there will be much help from many different people to fulfill it. The universe wants you to succeed. Do not hesitate to ask and receive assistance for the fulfillment of your mission to help others. Spiritual guidance. For the first peoples of Australia, there's no separation between the spiritual and the earthly, and a sacred bond exists between all beings. Kaniini, a Pinjantaraja word shared by Aboriginal elder Uncle Bob Randall of the Yankunytjatjara Nation, embodies love and responsibility. It reflects the wisdom for living with expansive, unconditional caring for all life. From Southern Africa arises the term Ubuntu, which translates as humanity, is an expression that refers to our humanity in the best possible sense, goodness, kindness, and virtue expressed towards one another. In Ubuntu, humanity is bonded through our societal relationships with each other. We belong to each other and can show warmth to all, even strangers. Based on that spiritual understanding, in Zimbabwe's Shona language, Umbu is about right relationship to each other. No child is ever an orphan when there is Umbu. It's Unhu. It's Unhu. So Ubuntu, I said it correctly, Unhu is what it meant. There is respect and leadership as people are taught to guide themselves, and the leader remains open to conversations and connection with those being led. Did you hear that? There's no hierarchy. Did you get that? Round table stuff. Kani Iri and Ubuntu understand that the individual grows, develops, flourishes, and holds purpose and meaning in connection with greater love, creation, and humanity. To honor the oracle of Kahiini is to honor our sense of belonging, community, love, and the right way to live. See? Right way to live. And you know it. All of you listening know it. And you know that right now we're not living the right way. You know it. We can acknowledge our connection as we seek out and fulfill our innate spiritual purpose for the greatest good. Our purpose brings our being to life and is what we feel we most naturally do. There is a loving and healing genius in the divine design and the fulfillment of our authentic spiritual destiny. Thus, all beings are assisted in the fulfillment of their destiny. There are times when the spiritual path requires separation from a collective and the consciousness holds. See, this is why many of you are walking the path of the lone wolf in your celibacy. For some of you, it's just the lone wolf path. We may feel an internal disconnection from society during such a phase as we sift through societal conditioning, casting aside that which does not strike us as true and seeking alternative views. As we distill our consciousness, we discover a new way to be. Then, when it is time, we naturally seek to live and share this internal truth with others. We reach out to our people or discover new soul groups, integrating into the social fold with our precious offering of rarefied awareness. We realize that conflict with societal values serves a purpose. It helps us clarify our consciousness so that we can grow stronger spiritually, psychologically, and emotionally. Stronger. Our offerings to our communities can then become an alchemical wisdom. Alchemical wisdom. What a great, stringing of words. Alchemical wisdom. So despair. The apathy of saying, well, it's always been like that. Nothing will ever change. Nothing has ever changed is a lie, isn't it? It's a lie. A person in alignment with innate spiritual purpose becomes a conduit for the intelligence of life itself. Their personal journey has a transpersonal effect. They become sacred activists at a deep level of being. Through their presence, things happen. They become a natural catalyst for healing transformation. A human enriched with spiritual warmth and inclusive love is open to others and encourages good in all human beings. They are self-assured, knowing that they have an inviolable place and purpose in life. They understand that they can only gain from assisting others. The spiritual progress of another and the sacred empowerment that comes from it is inspirational rather than a source of jealousy or self-doubt. In the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, principles of Kainiyi and Ubuntu are found in the Bodhisattva vow, where great souls plunge themselves into sacred service for the spiritual liberation of all sentient beings. These teachings help us evolve from competition. Yeah. This is the problem we're having in the spiritual community. We have competition. People are playing the competition game, and some people are not doing the spiritual creation of content for the liberation of all sentient beings. They're doing it for their own aggrandizement and for money, to be honest. So we need to discern. These teachings help us to evolve from competition to the realization that the moment another is oppressed, denied, or diminished, suffering is released into the collective. The most sensitive we are spiritually, the more we recognize this, and the more motivated we become to serve the evolution of humanity from the benefit of all beings. Healing process. Find a place to sit or lie comfortably. Imagine, feel, or visualize that every being on earth is being blessed by divine love. Silently, with reverence and joy, see every being captured within a circle of golden light. It wraps itself lovingly around the earth, plants, animals, human beings, trees, bugs, lost souls, and isolated human beings. All beings are included in the divine encircling embrace. A feeling of peace, unity, and healing builds within the circular field. Rest here for as long as it feels good. When you are ready, gently arise from your meditation and say, "May all beings know peace, divine love, and merciful protection. May each one of us know true belonging and fulfill our sacred purpose with open hearts and willing minds. So be it." Place your hands in prayer and bow your head. You have finished your healing process. Aho. That was beautiful. Thank you for staying longer to listen to your message. I really appreciate your patience. And I want to thank you for being you. You are enough. And I'm not just saying that to make you happy. I'm on a train in London. Wonderful. I've been a lone wolf warrior for 52 years. Anyway, I want to thank you again. I will upload this on my YouTube channel. Please follow me on YouTube. All the lives are put there. And much love. Thank you, sister. Thank you, Jennifer. Aho to you. Much love, and we'll talk to you soon. Namaste. Be well.